We have a very interesting matchup in the AFC as the Indianapolis Colts are taking on the Miami Dolphins in Indy. This is your Week 1 2025 prediction and preview video. Hit subscribe button if you're new. Also hit the like button. Let's start with the home team, Indy. There's going to be a lot going on in this game for Indy. This is the first game in the regular season since Jim Irsay passed away. And rest in peace to Jim Irsay. There's going to be a lot of energy in this building for this matchup. And I expect for Indy to come out and to play hard as possible. You have a brand new starting quarterback in Daniel Jones. The identity with the Indianapolis Colts has been to run the football at a high rate with Jonathan Taylor because he is one of the best players at his position. But there's a couple of problems here with Indy. You no longer have Will Fries. You no longer have Ryan Kelly. Two centerpieces of this offensive line. Ryan Kelly was a phenomenal center. Will Fries is a very good right guard. You still have three very good offensive linemen. Quinn Nelson is one of the best left guards in the game. Bernard Raymond is a very good tackle, and the same with Braden Smith. But pay attention to the center and the right guard position. Shane Steichen has been a phenomenal offensive play caller in the past with the work that he was able to do with Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers many years ago, and the work that he was able to do with Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. But this is a different case right here. Daniel Jones, he's a solid quarterback. We've seen him make the NFL playoffs in his first year with Brian Dable. It was him and Saquon holding things down on the offensive end. Expect a similar system in this matchup. The Miami Dolphins get a lot of flack for not being this overly aggressive team on the offensive end and having the right pieces in the trenches. You can't say the same for the defense. Defensively, they have a lot of talented names in their front seven. Jalen Phillips. You have Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson. All of those players can get to the quarterback on a consistent basis, and they are a solid rushing defense as well, with Anthony Weaver entering his second year being their defensive coordinator. So be on the lookout for that. But the thing here with Indy, it's not even a running back position. I trust that Jonathan Taylor can get at least 100 rushing yards on the Miami Dolphins. The problem is this. Can Daniel Jones be competent enough inside the pocket, and will he have enough time with these new pieces in the interior of this offensive line to dish the football out to Michael Pittman Jr. and the same with Josh Downs and A.D. Mitchell? The Miami Dolphins, the weak spot of their defense is their secondary. They do have Micah Fitzpatrick, who is still a very good safety, but at the cornerback position, it's been a revolving door the entire offseason. You'll bring in some players, you'll release some players. You no longer have Jalen Ramsey. You traded him to the Steelers. He was easily your best corner on the roster last year. So you can attack the secondary as much as possible. But it comes down to that offensive line protection, and can Daniel Jones be accurate enough? Daniel Jones in the past has had a bad history of staring down his number one option with the New York Giants. But I will say this in defense of Daniel Jones, he has never played with this much talent before. With the Giants, his best receiver came his last year, and that was Malik Neighbors. His best receiver up to that point was Darius Slade, and he had a huge drop problem with the Giants at that point in time of his career. You now bring him over with these playmakers with a very good running back in the backfield. The one thing that we know is that Daniel Jones can be a solid game manager, and in this role against Miami, that should be the game plan. Take care of the football, get the football where it needs to be, and pick up those extra yards with Daniel Jones's legs and run some RPO. That's one thing that Shane Steichen did a phenomenal job with Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm not trying to compare Daniel Jones to Jalen Hurts here, but I'm just saying you run that system, it opens up the field for Daniel Jones. You just want to make his life easier and target out that secondary with some of these key players. And Alec Pierce, be on the lookout for him. You could take some deep shots in this matchup. But one thing that I am concerned about with Daniel Jones, he suffered a neck injury early on with the New York Giants. The deep ball hasn't been the same. He's underthrown a lot of passes over the last 2 to 3 years of his career. The wide receiver will get a huge step, but Daniel Jones just doesn't have the same power to push the ball deep down the field. But he can push the football 20 to 25 yards down the field. And Tyler Warren can be that matchup nightmare that you're looking for if you are Indy. That's why you selected him in the first round. He's this huge target coming out of Penn State. This man had a throwing touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and obviously receiving touchdowns his last year at Penn State. Run this offense through him in key situations. But the weapons on the outside, and as a matter of fact, the skill position with Indy, they're set. You can take a lot of things away from the Miami Dolphins on the defensive end and make them have to go out there and alter your game plan. But Anthony Weaver, he is a good defensive coach. Keep that in mind. But I'll target out that secondary with those cornerbacks on the outside, and I'll trust my wide receivers over the top if I am Shane Steichen. And don't be surprised if they get out to a slow start, maybe they go with Anthony Richardson. But I think that Daniel Jones will finish out this game, and I think that Indy will come out and they'll have a lot of energy because of the passing with Jim Irsay, and it is because it is a home game to open up the season. Defensively, it's a lot of question marks here. You no longer have Gus Bradley as your DC. You bring in Coach Lou from the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals did not have a good defense last year. The personnel was not the best, but Coach Lou definitely did not have his best year last year coaching. This is a brand new defense for him. You have some talent in that front seven to try to beat up that offensive line of the Miami Dolphins. The one thing that we know about the Dolphins, they love to use motion with Coach McDaniel, and they love to get the football out quick because the offensive line protection has not been at an elite level with Miami since Tua has been the starting quarterback. So you have to tackle in space. It is so many athletes on this roster, and they have so much speed with Jalen Waddle. The same with Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane. Basically, what the Dolphins love to do is use finesse. If you're Indy, go out there and be aggressive. Press up at the line of scrimmage and have safety help over the top. Play that cover 2 man. This is something the Buffalo Bills has done a great job of when they go against the Miami Dolphins. That's why the tight end position is going to be so important for Miami moving forward. That's why they brought in Jonnu Smith last year, so he could play in that position. Whenever you play that cover 2 man, you need someone that can beat linebackers on the inside. And they had the athleticism with Jonnu Smith. Darren Waller, he missed all of last year because he retired. He's back this year. We'll see if he has the same juice. He hasn't been able to stay fully healthy over the last few years either, with the New York Giants and the same with the Las Vegas Raiders. But I would not let Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle get enough space in front and they break a tackle or two. The next thing that you know, or they make a defender miss, the next thing you know, they're going for a 50 to a 60-yard touchdown. Look at what happened last year against the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was one big play that got Miami back into that game. Tyreek Hill takes it to the house for a 60-yard touchdown. You have to limit those explosive plays and beat up this offensive line up front and put that pressure on Tua. And you have a front seven to do so with Kwity Paye, who's a very good player. Coming off the edge, Grover Stewart is a very good defensive tackle. DeForest Buckner is still a top defensive tackle in football. Latu had a solid season last year. He's entering year 2. Coming out of UCLA, very good and productive player. Can he take that next step playing with Coach Lou? You have Zaire Franklin in pass coverage. He had 2 interceptions last year, 5 forced fumbles, 3.5 sacks, 93 solo tackles. Zaire Franklin is known for going out there and blowing up run plays and running around. They need him to have a dominant game in this matchup against the Dolphins. Your secondary, you brought in some key names here, and Cameron Bynum, who is a very good safety, and you bring in Charvarius Ward, who's a true number 1 cornerback that's coming over from the 49ers. Missed a lot of time last year because of situations off the field, but he's a phenomenal player. Kenny Moore at the nickel cornerback position, and Xavier Howard is a wild veteran to have on the back end of this defense. And when you have those veterans, they know what to do in key situations, especially on 3rd and long, or even in crucial situations in the goal line. You just cannot let Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle break open this game. And you can say what you want to say about Tua. When he has enough time inside the pocket, he's easily one of the most accurate quarterbacks in football. You have to put that pressure on him and do it without blitzing, because if you blitz Tua, he will make you pay. And once again, if you send too many defenders into his face and he gets that football off to a running back like Devon or to a wide receiver like Tyreek Hill, and they have all that space in front of him and they make a defender miss, once again, that's an explosive play. But Indy, you have to play this game close. Take care of the football, play through your front seven, your defense as a whole, run the football, and be aggressive with the Miami Dolphins. And I can't say this enough. I can't emphasize this enough for Daniel Jones. You have to take care of the football if you are Indy. That's priority number 1. Now let's talk about the Miami Dolphins here. The Miami Dolphins actually match up very well with Indy. They're going to test out the athleticism of those linebackers. Last year, Jonnu Smith had a career year receiving yard wise. Why is that? Because of the attention with Tyreek Hill and the same with Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill had a down year last year. A lot of that was because of injuries with his wrist. It was also because of this. Tua missed time last year with yet another concussion. When Tua's in the lineup, Tyreek Hill usually has big time performances. against this Colts roster. You're going against a tough defense, but this is the one thing that Coach McDaniel can do. Scheme up to get the football out quick. If they play that cover 2 man, like I'm assuming that they will, or even if it's cover 1, Darren Waller has to step up. He may be a bit rusty early on. Right now, he is questionable for this game, but he's on pace to play in this matchup. He has to dominate across the middle of the field. And the reason why I say that, these fast tight ends like Jonnu Smith and Darren Waller, you just can't cover them with a linebacker. They're too fast. You put a safety on them, they're too big. So pay attention to him in this game. But I expect for Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill to get some big-time plays, either deep down the field, going down the middle, or even close to the line of scrimmage. But the offensive line has to be better. It's been so many times in Tua's career to where he's went down because of bad offensive line protection, and it's been hits to the head. This is a very good front seven with Indy. The offensive line has some bad moments against the Jacksonville Jaguars in the preseason. That's not a good look. And when I take a deeper look at this offensive line, Austin Jackson at the right tackle position, he needs to be better. Patrick Paul at the left tackle position, he needs to step his game up. You drafted Jonah at the left guard position in the second round this year. He's a rookie. James Daniels, you're bringing him in free agency when he came over from the Steelers. He's coming off a torn Achilles injury. Can he still be that elite right guard that he was last year? Because before he went down with that Achilles injury, he was a very good player at the right guard position. I'm not worried about the run game here for the Miami Dolphins because Devon Achane, he has so much speed coming out the backfield. A bunch of wide zone plays should work out in his favor. He has a very good jump cut going to the right. He can just bust things open for a 15 to 20 yard gain. But I'm worried about the pass protection here. And if you continue to just check the ball down a bunch of screens over and over again and motion doesn't work out for you, we've seen how bad the Miami Dolphins offense can be. But you have Tua. Tua is a legit game changer for Miami. He's a very good football player. The only thing that I'm concerned about here is the offensive line. But other than that, I think that Coach McDaniel's going to have the right game plan going against the linebackers in space. Zaire Franklin, like I mentioned before, he's their best linebacker. He's known for going out there and stopping and run and being a very good tackler. And pass coverage, you may get away with a couple plays if he is covering Darren Waller in space. Just pay attention to that. But test the athleticism out for Indy. But you have to find a way to block better. And you just can't go out there and run a bunch of motion plays over and over again. That is what put the Miami Dolphins behind the 8 ball here. Now, defensively, I can easily see the Miami Dolphins playing through their defense early on in this game for when they go against Indy. Your front seven is fully healthy right now. Bradley Chubb missed all of last season, but he's a top pass rusher with this roster. Chop Robinson was a very good rookie last season. Zach Seiler, very good player. It's the reason why I just gave him a massive contract extension. Zach went out there and had double-digit sacks last year. All of these players can get to the quarterback. They can stop the run. Make Daniel Jones beat you. Make him take those deep shots down the field. That's what all the teams in the NFC East did. And once again, he's never played with a team like this before. But put all that pressure on Daniel Jones. Now, your secondary, I'm not going to lie here. I don't have that much confidence in the cornerback room. But at the safety position, you do have Micah Fitzpatrick. Play through him. Look at what the Green Bay Packers have done. They don't have the best cornerbacks on their roster, but they played through Xavier McKinney last year. The same with the Detroit Lions. They were dealing with so many injuries at the cornerback position, they played through their safety room. You could do this in this matchup. Now, Minka has taken a step back, but he is still a very good playmaker safety, and he will give you very good moments, especially if you're on the goal line. And a lot of quarterbacks, they just go away from Minka. You have him sitting across the middle of the field. Even if you run some split safety action, he can come over, he can rotate, he can take the football away. But you need to put all that pressure on Daniel Jones. Stop the run and watch out for Tyler Warren coming across the middle. He's this 6'6" monster that can break open this game. And if you leave him in one-on-one situations, it's a good chance that Daniel Jones may just throw it up there to Tyler Warren and he comes down with it. The key things I'm looking out for in this matchup is the offensive line protection with the Miami Dolphins all around. The interior offensive line protection with the Indianapolis Colts. I'm not worried about the tackle position. I'm not worried about Quentin Nelson. The cornerback battle between the Miami Dolphins and the key wide receivers with Indy. And the run defense with Miami in general. If Jonathan Taylor goes out there and he has a game and he's forcing you to sell out to stop the run, that's going to make life so easy on Daniel Jones, and he can pick you apart. We've seen him do this before. But once again, I would rather have Daniel Jones go out there and beat me than Jonathan Taylor. with me saying all of that, I do have the Miami Dolphins win this matchup 27-17. But let me know in the comment section below, who do you have winning this game? The Indianapolis Colts or the Miami Dolphins? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless.